Don't kill yourself. I love you. I don't know who needs to hear it. Um, I primarily want to address myself, but to anyone who's watching or listening, please don't kill yourself. I love you. There's probably someone who loves you. Um, and yeah, I've put off making this video. I think like for the last 2 months, I had the idea for this video in my mind, but I never really recorded it because I wanted it to be perfect and I wanted it to be this way, and I also had a lot of fear of what people might think when they see this video. But yeah, I even made it into a t-shirt. It's like, this is my mom, this is me. It says, don't kill yourself. It says, I love you on the back with another picture. Yeah, my mom killed herself in November of 2021. That's not even true. It's in October. The funeral was in November. I don't want to edit this video also, by the way. I just want to vent a little bit. And yeah, because like, as I've said before, I want this video to be perfect, and then I'd edit it way too much. And then it wouldn't come off really genuine either. So yeah, don't kill yourself. I love you. As a reminder, I say that as a reminder to myself, because I still am suicidal. I still have a lot of suicidal thoughts. And yeah, my mom killed herself in October of 2021. Nobody saw, well, I didn't see it coming. My sister didn't see it coming. A lot of people in our family and some of her friends didn't see it coming. There were some friends of her, like her best friend, knew she was suicidal because like prior to that, like 4 years before that she actually killed herself, she told that friend that she was having suicidal thoughts. But yeah, to me, complete shock. I wasn't living at home anymore. I was living with my ex-girlfriend. So I didn't really see my mom a lot. It was also, yeah, 2021. So it was like kind of at the end of like COVID. So I didn't really see her that much. We talked a little bit. We went for walks sometimes. But yeah, so yeah, the reason don't kill yourself, I love you. Why I printed that on this t-shirt as well is because was it this summer? Yeah, last summer. There's this festival in Belgium called Pukkelpop. I went there on Sunday and there was this band called The Haunted Youth. They were playing, and during the middle of their gig, they showed this on screen. So they showed like don't, and then they showed kill yourself, I love you. And it brought tears to my eyes because I was standing in the crowd. I just got fired like 7 days prior. So I felt really bad. The Haunted Youth actually has a song, I Feel Like Shit and I Wanna Die. And that, yeah, I really felt like shit. But when I saw that, it gave me like a little bit of motivation and hope to just follow through and to continue and to not kill myself. So yeah, why do I want to kill myself? I've thought about this a lot. I've talked to a lot of therapists. I've been to the psych ward of a hospital for like 6 weeks. So I've talked to a psychiatrist. I've talked to multiple psychiatrists. I've talked to a lot of therapists. So I know, well, I know why I want to kill myself. It just makes sense to me. If I lay like all the facts next to each other, um, I've I'm living a life that is not worth living for, um, and I've actually convinced myself that that is true. So yeah, suicide is like the only solution to that. Um, I have some examples here. I want to change and be different. There's things that I don't like about myself, and I really want to change about the way that I am or the way that I act, but I can't seem to fucking do it. And the fact that I'm aware of the things that I want to change about myself and I can't really commit to doing it only makes it worse. Um, there's so much like my appearance. I'm pretty insecure about the way that I look. Pretty skinny. It's been like all my life like that. I've been to the gym. I've went to the gym consistently from like 2016 right up until like COVID. Um, so I have looked better, but never really had the physique that I had in mind, which is like, yeah, just being a little bit more buff, I guess. Uh, yeah, the way that I talk, the way that I communicate with people, I'm, yeah, I'm pretty shy. Don't really have that many friends, but I'll come back to that later. Um, and I'm pretty hard on myself. I'm really hard on myself. I know that I'm hard on myself, that I crave perfection. Um, and yet I know that of myself. And so every time, like when I do something, I'm like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't be so hard on yourself. Doesn't really seem that I can turn that off. Um, so, which comes to the next part. Like 2 months ago, I discovered that I have inattentive ADHD. So I have ADHD type inattentive. I got myself tested because I went on a date last summer with someone who has ADHD. She told me, like, we were talking, and when she was describing her symptoms, I resonated with that a lot. So yeah, she's actually the reason why I then got myself tested. I've put off getting tested for so many reasons, like costs a lot of money. If I don't have it, then it'll just feel like a waste of money. Do I really have it? Am I not just not being gaslit by all this content that I see on Instagram or TikTok? Because it seems like everyone had ADHD these days. But so yeah, 2 months ago, I actually got diagnosed. I did the tests. I got diagnosed with ADHD type inattentive, which means that I have difficulty with concentrating. I'm easily distracted, but I don't really have. I have some of the hyper symptoms. The most common type of ADHD is the normal type of ADHD, where you also have like the hyper variant, like, and you're like impulsive. You talk a lot. You interrupt people while talking, but as I've said, I don't have enough symptoms of the hyperactivity. So that's why I have the inattentive type. So it's really annoying to have to explain that to people, because Like if I tell someone like, yeah, I've been diagnosed with ADHD, the first thing that they say is like, yeah, there's no way you don't have ADHD. And then you have to explain them like there's this other type, inattentive type, where, you know, don't really have the hyperactivity, but inside of my mind, there's a lot going on. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense since I got diagnosed. Because like in high school, yeah, I'd get easily distracted. I'd get easily distracted. Struggle with addiction. Thank God I don't have a drug or alcohol addiction, but I do or still am recovering or like trying to stay away from video games, porn. There's like YouTube, TikTok, Insta, brain rot, just like watching content in general. I think like Netflix and stuff like that also falls into that category. You know, like binge watching a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah. Um, you know, as I've talked earlier, like I want to change some things about myself, but yeah, I've just learned that I have ADHD, so there are certain things that I can change about myself. I would love to be um, less distracted and, you know, can focus on certain tasks that, you know, are a little boring. Um, so yeah, it's a struggle of like knowing like what can I change about myself, um, as opposed to like, okay, I have ADHD. What are some of the things that I can't really uh, help myself with? I don't fucking know. And I'm like, I'm rambling. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have this little paper here. I wrote up a little bit of things that I want to talk about, but for the most part, I just want this video to be like kind of a venting, a venting thing. I've been trying to get into journaling, but yeah, I struggle really hard with like being consistent, um, and you know, thinking too much about, okay, journal. Do I want a physical journal? Do I want a journal on my phone? I don't know how to journal. Where do I start? And so that's something that I struggle a lot with. Is I like to overthink certain things to the point where I like have thought about it so much that I'm not even gonna act upon it, because I've tried to like um, I've tried to, you know, see every possible outcome, um, you know, and get really fucking exhausted, and then like not even act on that. So um, yeah, maybe this is like a better way for me to journal, write down how I'm feeling, because I do know that it helps. Science has, oh my God, science has proven that it does help. Talking about your feelings helps, journaling helps, writing down how you feel, because I am also really bad at like communicating, showing to other people how I'm feeling, and just talking about emotions in general. Really tough. So during my ADHD tests, I also did screening for autism. Um, and yeah, I reached the threshold for autism. So I also did all of the testings for autism as well. Normally, I would have discussed my results with the therapist in December, but I I had a really bad 2 weeks, so I was just laying in bed, not really doing anything, not being able to feel motivated to do anything at all, like going to therapy. And yeah, I've rescheduled a new appointment at the end of January. Um, but yeah, there's a pretty high chance that I am also on the autism spectrum because, like, they ask a lot of questions, and I have difficulty with eye contact, reading other people's like emotion, um, generally doing things alone, loving routines and repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Um, so yeah, there's a big chance, and also it would make a lot of sense because on the one hand I have ADHD, and on the other hand I might have autism, but those two contradict each other because with autism you really crave routines and doing the same thing, and so I would build in these routines, but then after a while I would get so bored about the routines, which is like the ADHD part, where I don't like doing the same thing, and things easily get bored. So you're constantly like, yeah, fighting with myself. So, I hope that I get diagnosed with autism. I know it sounds maybe weird, but it would explain a lot. And I love science, so yeah. What else? So yeah, why do I want to kill myself? Yeah, for the last like a life that is not worth living for the last 2 years I've been living, well, kind of surviving, because there's like a period of like 2 weeks where I'm really motivated to do stuff, and generally feel really good, sometimes a little bit too good, where I would actually do like impulsive stuff, and then there would like come at a point where everything shifts. Like for the next 2 weeks I'm unmotivated, I lie in bed all day, I'm really tired, I just want to sleep all day, don't go out, don't make food for myself, don't go to the grocery store, stop seeing friends, stop working out. And then on these other 2 weeks, like when I feel great, I go to the store, I make food for myself. I even ran half a marathon, and I've only been running for like 3 months. So yeah, it's a lot of high and lows. And when I got admitted to the hospital, to the psych ward, I started antidepressants, but I didn't feel anything with them. The only thing I felt were like the downsides, like the negative effects, where I couldn't cry. Um, my sex drive was gone completely. I was really tired during the day, which like before that I didn't have. So I only took one type of antidepressant, and I know like you're supposed to try different antidepressants because they work for different people. But yeah, like if I go out of my way and try antidepressants and like the first one doesn't really work, I'm like, okay, fuck this shit. This is not gonna work for me. Um, so yeah, then I stop seeing my psychotherapist, or what is the name for it? Like the guy who prescribes you medicine. Um, Really bad experience in the hospital with a psychiatrist. Yeah, that's the word. Um, yeah. Um, there's so much. There's so much. And I don't really feel like I'm really telling it in a really structured way, kind of all over the place. Um, but yeah, I'll do a quick like timeline. So at the end of 2021, my mom killed herself. Um, then I had to go through, well, she was a single mom living alone. She had an apartment, had to like make the decision, do I go and live in her apartment? Do we sell the place? Um, we we settled on selling the place, but then uh, it took a while before like the apartment actually got sold. Um, just a lot of fucking like papers and bureaucracy when someone dies. Um, and I was 25 at the time, and my sister was 19 at the time. So like she just started studying, and I kind of took it all on me because I didn't want her to have to deal with that shit. Um, you know, I'm the older brother. Uh, but yeah, that shit was tough. And then also like cleaning out her apartment. Um, yeah, that shit like took a year. So I think like at the end of 2022, we actually sold the place and then uh, got rid of everything. And so I finally thought, yes, now I finally have more time for myself. Um, but I actually felt worse after that because I didn't really have a purpose. And so that's when I started questioning my relationship. At that time, we were 7 years together. We just bought a house because, yeah, I got the inheritance from my mom, which allowed me to buy a place with my ex girlfriend. But then, yeah, we were living there for like 6 months. And then I was starting to question. Well, I already knew longer that that relationship wasn't good for me, wasn't good for her, but we stayed together because it was easier that way. I didn't want to be alone. And financially, it also made more sense to stay together. But yeah, that reached its point like June 2023, where I finally build up the courage to tell her that I wanted to break up. And for the like, it fucking broke me because um, she didn't have a place to go. Her parents aren't around, they weren't around. So I was literally putting her on the street, which is also one of the reasons why I put off breaking up with her for so long, because I knew she didn't really have anyone to turn to, like in terms of like living situation. Um, but yeah, I told her the courage. She stayed at a friend's house, and like for the first 2 weeks, I felt kind of okay, like that I finally took the courage to tell her. So I actually felt pretty good. But then, like 2 week, like after 2 weeks, again, like with the way that I've been living these past 2 years, felt really terrible. Finally told my ex that I was having suicidal thoughts for the first time. She contacted my dad. I had to sit down with my dad and like actually told him that I wanted to kill myself. And he was like, I would love for you to go to the hospital and get help. Um, and so I did. So that's how I ended up on the psych ward in the hospital. Um, you know, I think like 4 or 5 days, 3 days before my mom killed herself, she also went to the doctor with a friend of hers. And the doctor at that time suggested that she'd also yeah, go to the hospital for a while, to the psych ward. And my mom unfortunately didn't do that. She didn't go through. She didn't like that idea. But 3 days later, she committed suicide. So, it also was for me like, let me at least like do what my mom didn't do. So I stayed for 6 weeks there, started antidepressants, um, and actually like learned a lot during that time. But you only stay there for 6 weeks and then you go back home. You go home to an empty house, and I fucking hated it. So the suicidal thoughts just kept coming back uh, till like the end of like November 2023, where I actually like wrote a suicide note because my mom, she didn't leave a note. So I was thinking about suicide, and so the least that I could do was do what my mom didn't do and write a letter. I shared that letter with my ex at the time, so we were separated. She told my dad again, which was a good thing. And yeah, like I never attempted suicide, but March 2024, I think, like, yeah, the first March 1st or something, 2024, I actually made all the preparations at home to kill myself. Um, it was like a weekday, and I was crying. I really wanted to kill myself. I was gonna go through with it, but then something in me was like, just call your dad and tell him what you are going through right now. But like, as I said again, this was a weekday, and I think it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. I knew that man had to work the following day, so called him anyway. He picked up the phone, and he actually did the 30-minute drive to come to my place, and he actually stopped me from killing myself. So I've never made an attempt, but it doesn't take away from the fact that like sometimes I can get up so like really fucked up in my head that I actually convince myself that suicide is the only solution to these problems and issues that I'm having. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Um, so yeah, I currently have no partner. I don't miss my ex because, as I've said before, um, I wasn't happy with her and she wasn't happy with me. So I don't miss my ex, but I miss being in a relationship, because we did have like a good thing going on for 7.5 years. From those 7.5 years, I think we lived together for like six years. And yeah, it was like a really good oiled machine, like I would mostly do, we would cook together. I would do the cleaning and do laundry because she had back problems, and she would like really deep clean some of the stuff like the shower or like the kitchen, and just like kind of tidy up, fold the clothes and stuff. Like I did laundry, but she folded the clothes, and now I have to do all that stuff for myself. And I know how to do that, but I fucking hate myself so much that, yeah, why would I fucking cook for myself? Why would I wash my clothes? Why would I vacuum my apartment? um, the fact that I don't have this external pressure anymore, it's really sad how like I don't really like to take care of myself because I've convinced myself that I'm not worth it most of the time. Um, so yeah, that's pretty rough. Um, I have been dating like the last year. There were like four girls that I met with who actually had like a potential to be um to be something more than just dating and actually like maybe try a relationship. But what tends to happen is like, the third or the fourth date, I really want to open up to this person. And when I do, I'm really honest about like, yeah, my mom killed herself, and I am still struggling sometimes as well with suicidal thoughts. And as soon as you say that, um, they don't want to date anymore, and they don't want to have a relationship, or like don't try. Um, which at one on the one hand I can understand because they're protecting themselves. But at the on the other hand, I'm really trying to be honest, trying to open up, express my emotions, tell people how I feel. Um, but yeah, maybe like the fourth date is like too soon, but like I can't help myself. I just want to be honest, especially as soon as I like have a click with someone, like kind of some chemistry. I'm like, yeah, this could actually work. I just want to open up myself, and I can't help myself. And maybe I'm a little bit too honest. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm that's what I'm having going on right now. I'm turning 29 next week. I've always had this perfect image in my head: getting married when I'm 30, having my first kid when I'm 32. But yeah, that's not happening. Um, Sometimes I don't really know if I want kids. Um, and when I'm like really, really low, I'm like, there's no way, man, you're a fucking loser. You're gonna be a terrible dad. And when I'm feeling good, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I actually have some good qualities, and I might be a good dad. And yes, I do want to have children, but the fact that I've been living my life and like feeling this way for the last 2 years, like 2 weeks, where I where my life seems great, and then 2 weeks where I'm like fucking depressed as fuck, staying in bed, wanting to fucking sleep all the time. Not because I'm tired, but because, when you're asleep, you're just not living in the present. So it's like an escape. It's like an escape from reality. Yeah, kind of getting addicted to sleep, just to numb all the problems or pain that I'm feeling. So yeah, when I reflect on how I'm living my life, like it's fucking sad, and I'm aware that it's sad, which makes it worse. Um, trying not to be so hard on myself, but on the other hand, like not brushing my teeth. I have a hemorrhoid. I'm not sure how I got it. It's an external hemorrhoid. But I'm pretty sure it's because, like, in the 2 weeks that I don't feel good, I don't eat any food at all. Um, so at a certain point, like when you go to the bathroom, but there's nothing to shit, um, you have a lot of diarrhea. So I'm pretty sure that like that's where I got my hemorrhoid from. But yeah, sometimes I have the motivation to do something about it, and then on the other hand, like I might like schedule an appointment. I've actually scheduled appointments at the hospital to like have it checked out. because I went to the doctor first. We tried a cream, but it didn't help. So now I have to actually go to the hospital. I made an appointment, but then I felt like shit again, and I was like, oh, fuck this, I'm gonna kill myself. Why would I go to the hospital? So that's one thing that I have, which, is fucking sad. I'm actually, maybe like, oh, maybe this hemorrhoid will kill me or something, or like, not eating for 2 weeks, maybe some miraculous way I will fucking die. That's like why that I do that, I guess. And the other thing that I have is like, I have this numbness in my upper right leg. I actually went to the hospital and got like, they put needles in my leg, and then they send like electric shocks through your leg. And like, yeah, the upper right side of my leg is just numb. They don't know where it's coming from, but like I have to make an MRI of my back because it's probably like some nerve that is getting pinched there. That's what they're thinking right now. But yeah, I've had this for like, I don't know, like the last 8 months or something, and yeah. So, it's fucking sad. Can't even. Sometimes I want to take care of myself, and then I like actually go through the effort of making an appointment. But then, yeah, if the appointment is like 2 weeks later, or it's like 2 months later, and I'm feeling like shit, I actually skip out on the appointment. So yeah, which reminds me, I actually have some bills to pay, because yeah, I didn't show up at the hospital, but I still have to pay for that. So I kind of want to end this video. Well, I've talked a lot about like suicide, losing my mom to suicide, struggling myself with suicidal tendencies. And it's really hard for me to like keep a job. Obviously, I have ADHD, I'm unmedicated. That really fucking sucks. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, and I've worked as like a digital marketer for like the last like 4 years. Doing all kinds of stuff. My first job was more performance based, so like Google Ads, Meta Ads, that kind of stuff. Fucking hated it. Then I worked for Game Mania for 2 years, which is like the GameStop of Belgium. They went bankrupt 3 months ago, but I worked there for 2 years. Primarily on loyalty marketing, the loyalty program that we had, further building that, and marketing automation. Fucking hated that as well. And then my last role was, just last year. I started in April as a analytics and data specialist, like focused on marketing data. But yeah, like, with the cycles, 2 weeks good, 2 weeks bad. I didn't come into work, didn't go to the doctor at some point to get like a note from the doctor to say that I'm sick. And so they actually had a good reason to fire me, because like half of the time I wouldn't fucking show up to work. And that last job, that might have been something that I would have actually enjoyed doing. But ever since like my mom killed herself as well, it's like, what's the point in life in general? And then if you go like a level deeper, like what's the point of going to work, doing something that you fucking hate? Yes, I understand I need money to like eat and do some stuff and buy some drumming equipment or whatnot. But the motivation is like gone. And also, since I'm alone now, when I was with my ex, I actually had motivation to go to work and make some money so we could do stuff together. But yeah, now that I'm on my own, I'm like, uh, yeah, the motivation to work, knowing that so many people kill themselves and no one's really talking about suicide. It's getting it gets censored a lot when you try to look up it online. Um, on the regular media like TV, especially here in Belgium. Uh, yeah, like there's not a lot of people who talk about suicide. Um, and so yeah, it's just something that you keep close to yourself. Um, it's really hard to talk about it, especially since like when my mom killed herself, I couldn't understand why she did that or why she actually committed the act of suicide. But then, yeah, a couple of months later, was it a couple of months later? Yeah, I don't know, like, mm, yeah, let's say like half a year later, I actually started having suicidal thought as well. And I was like, oh shit, this is what mom must have like gone through. And like now I actually understand why she killed herself. And I actually have sympathy for her. Like, I understand why you did it. This is no way to live. I wouldn't wish this on my worst fucking enemy. Um, you're alive, you're physically alive, but mentally you're just clocked out. The things that used to bring you joy don't bring you joy. Food even tastes different. Yeah, yeah, it's really hard. But now that I've had and I still have these suicidal thoughts, so I know what it feels like. I think I have a pretty good um, it actually motivates me to like, okay, this is fucking awful. I want to do something about this. But yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. I don't have a bachelor or master's degree in psychology, so um, I can't be a therapist right now. I could go study for it, but yeah, I'm turning 29. Um, and like, I don't know if like being a therapist is something that I would actually enjoy doing. I just know that I want to do something. And so the last year on my socials, like on Instagram, I made a post about my mom and like me coming out that I actually have been struggling with suicidal thoughts. I created a Discord server where, people could come and talk about mental health. So I actually made channels of like, yeah, people who want to talk about suicide, addictions, self harm, stuff like that. So I actually put some time and effort into that. And at the beginning, I got a lot of positive, feedback and messages. But what ended up happening is like 10 people joined my Discord server. Nobody wanted to talk um, in the like publical rooms that I made in Discord. So what I did is like I think I posted my suicide note in there, so just to show to people like, hey, this is what I've been struggling or am struggling with. Uh, this is like a safe space. You can talk about it here, and maybe we can help each other. But yeah, nobody did. I got like two people who messaged me in private that they were struggling with some things. But yeah, nobody really wanted to talk about it in the Discord. So that's something that I try to do. And like I really felt motivated. Like, if you're struggling mentally, I have a Discord where, we can talk anonymously with each other. Because I tried to call the suicide hotline once, the one in Belgium, and it actually didn't go through. I didn't get to talk to someone. So yeah, and I also think like Discord is like the barrier of entry is really low to talk to someone, and especially if like you know that's what I had in my mind. Like I'm coming out talking about suicide. Maybe that will get people to talk about it more than instead of like calling someone from a hotline who is a volunteer. And they get trained to talk to people who are suicidal. But if you're suicidal and you talk to someone who isn't suicidal, like it's it's really hard, because I always have this thought in my mind like they don't know what it feels like, so why should I share my story with them? So, and then I love singing. So what I did do after my relationship ended, I've always wanted. I love music. I've listened to music my whole life. I've played a lot of video games. I played a lot of World of Warcraft. So yeah, just playing WoW and listening to music was amazing. Played a lot of RuneScape back in the day as well. So Linkin Park while walking through Lumbridge. That is a core childhood memory. Um, but I never played a musical instrument. Um, but I really wanted to give drumming a go because um, yeah, I made up my mind pretty fast. Like yeah, I want to do something with music. Maybe I should start going to school to learn how to play the drums. And so that is what I did after like I left the psych ward. Um, and I'm super grateful that I did. Um, it's super fun playing the drums for like a year and a half now. But like as I've said, with like the 2 weeks good, 2 weeks bad. In the 2 weeks bad, I don't touch my drum kit. I don't listen to music anymore. Um, so yeah, it's been going up and down. Haven't really been consistent. Um but I really love music. So what I tried to do last summer is like record myself in the car singing, because I've seen some other creators do this on Instagram. I think there are a couple of people that I follow who do like karaoke type videos and post that on Instagram. And I love singing, so um, what I wanted to do, what my initial idea was like, there's a lot of songs where, they talk about mental health issues, suicide. And so, maybe this was a way to like draw in more people of the Discord is, me singing in the car, singing songs about like mental issues, and then maybe like redirect people from there to the Discord. But then, yeah, I got fired from my last job. It was a company car, so I don't have a car right now. So I stopped making uh, those videos. I follow a lot of drummers. I would love to do a drum cover, but as I've said, I've only been playing the drums for a year and a half, on and off as well, with like the 2 weeks good, 2 weeks bad. So I'm not at the level where I want to be, and there's not a lot of songs that I can actually play or cover yet. So that's also what like inspired me to do the karaoke thing, because like the singing is, singing using your voice, that is an instrument. So until I get good at the drums, maybe I can make some content about singing. Uh, and I still could, but the thing with the car was like it felt good, and like right now I don't really have the confidence to like film myself doing karaoke like here in the living room or something. Um, so that's been put on hold. But what I have been wanting to do is like obviously make like videos talking about mental health, and like kind of share my story, my what I'm struggling with, and upload it to YouTube. But like as I've said before, I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. I'm not licensed or like can't really help people the way that a therapist would. Um, but yeah, I think in general, what I want to do is just increase the awareness around suicide. I think like the last couple of years, especially after COVID, there is a lot of room to talk about mental health. But like suicide is something that's, in my opinion, not talked enough. Well, like there's not that much content around like suicide, especially here in Belgium. And that's also the reason why I'm recording this video in English. I want to reach as many people as possible. My native language is Dutch. I can also speak French. Uh, but yeah, I want to do this in English. I'm really comfortable talking in English. I've played a lot of video games. Everything was in English. I watch TV shows in English, on the internet a lot. Um, and I actually live streamed on Twitch from like 2011, is think when I started. From 2011 to 2015 I streamed. Before that, I also made YouTube videos about RuneScape or World of Warcraft. um, so I'm pretty comfortable talking in English. um, but what I'm what I'm heading towards, because we're like nearing the end of the video. What I have been wanting to do is like make content for mental health. um, and yeah, science has proven that talking helps. So what I really want to do is start a podcast. um, and the podcast name would actually be the name of this video: Don't Kill Yourself, I Love You. um, I don't want to make a podcast that solely focuses on like suicide, but like obviously suicide is going to be a um, huge part of it. But I think it can like go broader, with mental health in general, because like, yeah, as I've said, I have ADHD, which is a big topic for me. Might have autism. Um, so yeah, it's like January right now. It's like the 12th of January. So yeah, I really want to do this podcast thing. So I can talk to people. I've already pitched this idea to a couple of people, and like for example, my sister, she would really love to be on the podcast. Like, we both lost our mom to suicide, so there's a lot of things that I haven't told her, she hasn't told me. So there's a lot of people that I would want to invite on my podcast, which are close to me, like my dad, my sister. Um, there's like my mom had so many friends, a lot of good friends as well. Kind of invite them as well, because some of them she did share her suicidal tendencies too. But I haven't talked to them ever, or it's been like a really long time. So um, that's something that I want to do uh, in my spare time. So I still need to go look for a job because I can't live off of this yet. Who knows? I studied marketing. I know there's a lot of marketing budget going around for influencers, for working with influencers. And at my previous job, I actually um, got to see how trade marketing works and stuff like that. So, maybe this could turn into something more than just something that I do in my free time. But for now, I want to get my feet on the ground and just do this in my spare time. And I actually feel motivated because, yeah, I mean, it's like a way for me to vent, it's like a way for me to journal, share with people. Um, and, it also leaves less time for my addictions. So I want to do more stuff with music. I want to work out consistently, and I want to do something around mental health, suicide. Um, that is what I want to do in my spare time. Um, I'm just fucking done with playing video games to escape reality. Like, video games aren't even fucking fun to me anymore. But I still play them because it's like the only way that I've learned to cope. Same with like watching Netflix and stuff. Like, movies, that's okay, but like, especially like fucking like TV shows, like, you can binge so many episodes. I want to do less of that and, yeah, focus on music, working out, because the working out, I have experienced that it helps so much with mental health as well. Um, Music as well. And yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna start a podcast, inviting people over, talking about mental health or suicide or whatever. I'm gonna do it in English. If people are not comfortable with talking in English, they can talk in French or they can talk in Dutch, and I will provide subtitles. But yeah, I want to reach as many people as possible, so that's why I'm doing it in English. And at the end of the podcast, I would love to have a little karaoke segment. So the thing that I've been doing in the car, because I love singing, I love karaoke. And to end this video, I actually want to do some karaoke as well. There's a song from Sleeping with Sirens that is called Better Off Dead, I believe. And yeah, the lyrics are just, yeah, they're about my mom and what my mom went through. And um, yeah, it's like crazy. Like, I love music so much because I'm really bad at describing my feelings and talking about my feelings. I'm pretty comfortable at talking about my feelings by now because I've seen a lot of therapists, and like, obviously a lot has happened in the last 3 years where I want to be more vocal about my feelings. But you know there's so much that I want to tell people and it's in my head, but like, when it comes out, most of the time it doesn't really come out the way that I want to. And like with music, it like perfectly describes the feelings that I can't, it puts the feelings into words like I can't do myself. So um, yeah, I want to end this video with a karaoke, doing Sleeping with Sirens, Better Off Dead. I'll read some of the lyrics so you'll understand why this song means so much to me. Um, I love rock music. I love emo music. So yeah, Sleeping with Sirens is amazing. Uh, Sleeping with Sirens, Better Off Dead. Like I said, I don't want to edit this video because then it becomes this big thing again. So, I'm just gonna upload this video to YouTube, do no editing. I've thought about it way too much in my head. So, I gotta start somewhere. I know it's not perfect, but that's the point. So, the lyrics to to Better Off Dead are like, she said she wants to end it all. When she's all alone in her room, she cries. The way she feels inside is too much for her. When all you got is these four walls, it's not that hard to feel so small or even exist at all. How come no one heard her when she said, maybe I'm better off dead? If I was, would it finally be enough to shut out all those voices in my head? Maybe I'm better off dead. Better off dead. Did you hear a word? Hear a word I said. This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. So yeah, that perfectly describes probably what my mom went through with. And it also applies to me, man. Like, yeah, sometimes you sit alone in your room and you tell yourself that you want to end it all. So, here goes nothing. Sleeping with Sirens, karaoke. So, this is karaoke, which actually gives me the confidence to sing and do this and send this out into the world because, if it sucks, if my singing sucks, yeah, it's karaoke. If it's good, then who knows? So I've done like 2 takes before starting this video, so it might not be perfect, but it's also, it's like 12:30 in the morning here, so I'm gonna do it anyway, but like I'm gonna do it, I have neighbors, I live in an apartment, so I'm gonna try and be as quiet as I can. Here goes nothing. Oh. She says she wants to end it all. When she's all alone in her room, she cries. The way she feels inside is too much for her. When all you got is these four walls, it's not that hard to feel so small or even exist at all. How come no one heard her when she said, maybe I'm better off dead? If I was, would it finally be enough to shut out all those voices in my head? Whoa, maybe I'm better off dead, better off dead. Did you hear a word, hear a word I said? This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone, gone, gone. This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. She doesn't know she's beautiful, 'cause no one ever told her so. And the demons that she has are all she knows. And maybe she can fall in love with someone in her life that she could trust and tell her she's enough. How come no one heard her when she said, maybe I'm better off dead? If I was, would it finally be enough to shut out all those voices in my head? Whoa, maybe I'm better off dead, better off dead. Did you hear a word, hear a word I said? This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. And all you got is these four walls. It's not hard to feel so small. When all you got is these four walls, it's not hard for you to feel so small. All she wants to be enough. All she wants to be enough. So what does it take? Maybe it's not too late. Yeah, no one heard her when she said, maybe I'm better off dead. If I was, would it finally be enough to shut out all those voices in my head? Whoa, maybe I'm better off dead, better off dead. Did you hear a word I said? This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Gone, gone. This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Gone, gone. This is not where I belong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Oh my god, dude. That screaming part was fucking terrible. Um, so I go to music school, and we actually sing. I don't really get singing lessons, but yeah, I still really have to learn how to scream. That's not really my for. It's not really my strong suit. You know. So yeah, that's how I want to end the podcast. Like, do a karaoke with a song that like talks about mental health or suicide. So yeah, if you've made it through the end of this video, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but it's pretty fucking long. Then thank you for watching. And you know, if you know someone who is struggling mentally, uh, or if you know someone who's suicidal and you don't know how to help them, you know, maybe this video can help that person. So yeah, you can share it if you want. I don't know when the next time is gonna be when I upload to YouTube. Hopefully it'll be like the first episode of my podcast. And yeah, you know, I've talked a lot about yeah, how I'm feeling right now, but there's a lot more that I could make videos from. So, you know, might do another video on that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I guess I'll repeat it. Don't kill yourself. I love you. So yeah, bye.